Welcome to Town Talk on the County Channel. Little different format for this show, which may or may not be the last show of the series. Mayor John McCann of the Hilton Head Island usually is interviewing somebody important, and they're talking about great important things. Well, we're going to interview somebody important on this show, Mayor John McCann. Great to talk to you.
Thank you, and I'm really happy it's you.
Well, I'm happy it's me too, I guess. Let's get right into it.
Sure.
But because that's what you do in your interviews with the leaders around the county. You're ending your career as mayor with the with the elections, and it's kind of a good time to reflect back on what has gone on the past 4 years. An awful lot has happened to you and because of you and for you and whatever here on the island. Let's start with, you got any thoughts on your biggest accomplishment? What are you the most proud of when you finally walk out the door and they finally paint over the Yankees wallpaper on your office?
Well, that's sad to start with. You know, what I'm most proud of along the way is we've put together a council that really works well together. They're all different opinions, all different philosophies on things, but they work together. We've hired an excellent town manager, Mark Orlando, and we've started to recognize the staff for the quality of the work that they do. I mean, without the staff working on everything we've done, nothing would have been accomplished at all. We've accomplished a great deal of stuff. The new staff, the old staff, the people that are here a long time, they've just done a magnificent job. And we never take the time out to stop and say, just thank you. You really made this town a better place. The town manager's made it a better place. And I've developed some friends that I'll keep when I leave here, people like Kelly Spinella and the likes of that along the way.
Yeah. There has been an awful lot of things, of items, action items, I guess you guys like to call them, things you guys can put a pin in and said, yep, we targeted getting that done, and we did. Everything from the Mitchellville project, getting it really rocking and rolling, the Hilton Head Christian Academy move, and things that went on after that, the relationship with the Chamber of Commerce and renewing that, and all those kind of things. Specifically, anything you're going to say 5 years from now, good Lord willing, we're all here in 5 more years, that we can look at and say, hey, Mayor McCann's administration did that.
Well, good Lord willing is a good catchphrase to put us in here. When I first got here, the invocation was given by the Mayor Pro Tem.
Mm-hmm.
Did a good job. But I felt that if you're really going to get back and connect with the people, we should connect with the people through God. And what we decided to do is to invite different pastors, rabbis, ministers, whatever there was, on a routine basis to come in and give the invocation. It turned it into a meaningful meeting rather than just reading some words.
Mm-hmm.
Now that group has turned into its own group, which is a town function now that will meet this afternoon, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about different items in the community, from homelessness to this to that along the way. It's a group that will go a long way. It's a group that will get the message out really, really well along the way. And it's
obviously, that's a group you hope stays intact and stays a part of the next administration?
I most certainly would. The other thing that's important is we have a Mayor's Honoree Award group,
Mm-hmm.
which meets every quarter, and people that have done things in the community that you've never heard about, and they get awarded. And out of 4 years, I probably knew 3 people that I'd met the rest for the first time who was there. And it goes back to prove we have an amazing, amazing community along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to see that kept as we're doing it. You know, when you look at legislation, what we're doing, the housing issue is a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
You and me have talked about this before. I believe in housing, but not at all cost. I don't think we should build housing without giving it a lot of thought. I don't think we should build housing and have housing in a location where there's nowhere for those people to get out of that location unless they have their own car, and a lot of them don't. I think we should consider how it's going to affect the hospital and the school. I think we're a long way along with that process, and I'm very proud of where we are. and what we're doing there.
You actually, in discussions with me and with many others, have suggested we have a referendum, that the town citizens take that up, have that put in front of them. Do you want workforce housing?
Yeah, I think that we ought to discuss a plan, an education plan, how we educate the people on what workforce housing really is, and then go out to the citizens and say, what do you want? I mean, maybe the citizens want to be smaller than we are now. Maybe they want to stop the development of the island. Not everybody wants to see a bridge, not everybody wants to see this, but this is a big thing. This could turn our population around by anywhere from 4 to 8% with new people coming in here if we build this housing. People should be involved sometimes. This is one that should be involved because it will change the whole nature of the island.
4 years ago, soon after you came in, you established a citizen-led 278 Gateway Corridor Committee.
Yes.
It's been 4 years. We're still talking about the Gateway Corridor, and there are those who would like to see that discussion continue out much further
Yes.
than now. Where are you on all that
Oh,
now?
I must tell you, Mark and myself, we spend a lot of time sitting on people's lawns on 278, talking to people, the bugs crawling all around. We were out there listening for a long period of time. For some people, it's very, very personal. It's not a bridge or a corridor. It's something that their family has had for generations. For them, it's personal, and we should take it as personal. I think we're very close to doing something. I'd be shocked if the design for the bridge hasn't started already. Senator Davis is well involved with us now. Change is hard,
Yeah.
especially among old people. Change is hard. No, really, seriously.
The county's moving along, at least with the
Yes.
bridge part of it. Is it going to end in something? Can you predict that it's going to end in something that ties to it nicely and all works out, or could it end in what is there now, basically, when you hit the island?
I think the town, the council, and I hope the new council will be aware of the fact that when you got all these cars coming over the bridge, you need somewhere to put them. And it's not a matter of how fast can you get them here, it's what do you do with them at the end? Where do you put those cars when they go to the beach in Coligny? Where do you put those cars when they come over shopping and having dinner here along the way? There's an end part we haven't talked too much about, and that's a big role.
You've mentioned the fact that there's going to be a new council. It's going to be quite a bit different, I think, from past councils. And you've talked about the next administration. What would you want to tell that bunch? And what are you? Maybe you're going to tell that group something on your way out the door.
Well, I always tell them I'm going to leave my keys on my desk with an envelope below it, what you should do. I've been on the council 10 years.
Right.
And for those 10 years, I've been with Bill Hawkins and Tom Lennox. We've been together for 10 years. We wrote the chamber agreement. It wasn't some outside law firm. We wrote the chamber agreement. We put it together. We worked in a small room in Heritage Golf Course to put it together for years. Tom became the finance chairman when I became mayor along the way. Just done a magnificent job. I would give the people that comes after us is, think before you do a lot of stuff. There's no rush into doing nothing. All the emergency stuff will be done by tomorrow night. Think before you do something. Have meetings with Mark and the staff to go over what's really there. Spend time seeing what's there. I know you've promised a lot of people a lot of things on a campaign trail, but just take a minute back and sit and think, where do you really want to go? What do you really want to do? What's good for the town along the way? I'm sure they're very smart people that are running. They're all different again too, which makes for there's 4 of us leaving it. 4 of us could be leaving at one time. But a new council will be interesting. It will be interesting for the town manager, who he has to work with that he didn't have to work with before. It will work out. It's been working out for 20 some odd years. It just maybe get a bump in the road here, but it will work out.
No.
I mean, I went to New York a couple of years ago to meet with the bond people, and they asked me what the biggest asset of the town was. And we have a lot of money, and we've squirreled away money for reserves for years and years and years, and that started with Drew. I told them the people that live here are our biggest assets. People that live on Hilton Head are the assets that we have. They come from all over the world. Most of them check their Riga with the bridge. We have more experts in everything than anywhere in the world. Ask them, they'll tell you about the experts that we have here. But it's the people here, the volunteerism. Everybody volunteers at least one or two groups along the way, and the other ones that haven't learned yet what they should do. But
Everybody, almost everybody, and we do have a native population, but almost everybody has chosen to come here.
Yes.
Made a conscious decision. They're not here because their grandparents were here and the family's been here for 200 years on this island. They came here because they wanted to be here, and that seems to be, that's the dynamic that really tipped the scales for me
Yep.
and our family to move here is, hey, everybody has chosen to be here. They want it to be something special.
and the population has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hispanic population will be the majority population in a short period of time. The Asian population is very, very large, much larger than we think it is along the way. And we have, a lot of the black population is shrinking along the way. But it's when you go to graduation at high school here, and you see the mix of all the students graduating, you know you're in almost a perfect community where there's continuity among the people that live here and work along the way.
Oh, you're from the Great Melting Pot. You should know, huh?
No, half of the problems that they have here I never heard of before. So when I got here, it was an adventure along the way. So it was grits.
Yeah.
But it was just an adventure getting here. It was. But I've been here a long time now.
Yeah. You, what, 30 some years?
Yeah, we started coming in '85. We had a timeshare like everybody else did,
Yeah.
and then we bought our home in '97.
Wow.
So we're here a long time.
25 years. That's spectacular. Anything in the 4 years that you really wanted to get done that didn't happen?
Yeah, I really believe that the pandemic would have brought greater civility to the island. I really thought that being we were all captured in and couldn't go nowhere, and people were getting sick that you knew, families were getting sick, that people would be more civil to each other instead of the other way around. And I was extremely disappointed about that. The civility here, statewide, nationwide, is a big thing, causing a lot of problems. But I was disappointed that didn't come out of that along the way.
Interesting in the political discourse right now, a lot of it is about let the towns, let the local people decide their future. And yet you had to go nose to nose with the governor about COVID. Yeah, you wanted things shut down more than they were.
That's right.
The governor wanted things opened up more than they were. How is the relationship between the town and the state and state government because of that?
Fortunately and unfortunately, the relationship between the governor and myself is very good. I don't know who'll have that relationship when I leave, but when I call the governor, he'll call me back all the time. Within 48 hours, he'll call me back all the time. He called me, the first time he called me was we had a hurricane.
Yep.
And he called me on the phone and he's talking to me, and I have no idea who it is. Not a clue. So I'm listening to him talking. At the end, I realize, God, this guy's the governor. So he said to me, well, Mayor, he said, are you ready? I said, Governor, with your leadership, we'll always be ready here. I know, that's how casual he was and friendly he was. But he calls me back all the time, and for that, I'm very, very grateful.
Good relationship then?
Yes,
Does
it
the
is.
town have what's the town's relationship with the state? I've always found that to be a very strange dynamic because there's a whole lot of money down here, but it doesn't seem like we get to call many shots in Columbia. And even with a group of state representatives that is growing in their seniority, we're still kind of the left out corner of the state.
So our problem is that the state takes a lot more credence with the counties than they do with the towns.
Okay.
There's X number of counties, and they get more love and care by the state than the towns do itself, even though we produce the most money. Our relationship with the county is fair.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about, I
Our-
was going to take it to that point. Well, yeah, what?
It's fair.
Yeah.
I remember the first week I was mayor. We held a meeting out at the library in Bluffton, had the county officials in there, the senior town officials in there, and I wanted to talk to them about inequality. That there's an inequality here, what the town gets here from other towns. The other towns like within Beaufort. We're the only town here that pays for our own EMS, the only one that pays for our own EMS. We're the only one here that has our own call center for EMS and for 911. We're the only one that has our own and pays for our own.
You're also the only one that pays for sheriff's
Oh, that's right.
coverage.
That was my last one.
Okay, I wondered if you were going to get there.
No, we pay for our own beaches. We renourish our own beaches,
Right.
which no one else does, and we pay for the sheriff's department. We pay for them both stipends. We pay for them an extra budget item, which no one else does. It's wrong. We're in court now for 3 years.
Yeah.
The court name on the case is Steve Rowley and myself, because apparently a town can't sue its mother. So
Okay.
can't sue the county. We'll probably go to court probably January, February of next year. It's wrong. I mean, you can't charge us twice.
Right.
And all those things, either we're being charged 100% or we're getting nothing. It's just wrong. So the relationship between the county and the town should be very, very close. It's not that way.
Yeah.
And then, to my surprise, or not to my surprise, that the other towns have it worse than we do.
Really?
They're getting all the money from them, but they're getting no cooperation, nothing, and they're having sad times too. So it's an issue. The relationship is better between the counties and the state than it is with us.
Is Tom Davis the answer to that? Hopefully, as a bridge builder, and I use that as not literally, although it might be, to trying to get the towns and the county. He seems to be at least a center point for discussion.
He is, and he does a good job. He does all he can do.
Yeah.
But we still need the other representatives to represent us that aren't really doing too much for us.
Okay.
And that's a shame.
All right. How about your future plans? Like you say, you've been on council for a decade. They will probably still let you into town hall after your term is over, although we'll see about that. But you've got a lot of stuff still to give to this island and to the Low Country. What do you want to do?
Yeah, everybody asks you, what are you going to do when you retire? So
Aaron Boone has been. He's going to be staying there as the Yankees manager. You're not going to get that job. What are you going to do?
A third base coach would be nice for the Yankees. I could do that. I would work out doing that. I honestly don't know. I had talked to the hospital about being on the hospital board. We're still talking. I don't know. I know it's not over. I know there'll be something to do, but I'm not really sure what it is along the way. It's
Your golf game was pretty decent before you became mayor.
Yeah, before I
are
hurt
you
my
going to
back
get
and all that
you're
stuff,
going to
yeah.
get back into some of that?
no,
No?
no. My back has been bad, so I won't do that along the way. I was thinking of hosting a show once a week.
Well, there are folks, you know people, you probably can get a sponsor for it from somewhere.
Kelly said to me, I ought to go out and interview people I don't know in the street and then give you the take on it. And you can just have a show for a whole day.
If you interviewed, but you do know a lot of people, but you have interviewed a lot of people you didn't know. You have talked to people.
That's right.
And that maybe is the reservoir of knowledge that hopefully the next administration will tap into. So
We've spent an awful lot of time, because of Carol and Grant and Kelly, putting me on the outside. I mean, now that Mark is here a year, he's on his own, but we spend every Thursday together riding around the town to see what's wrong. Just riding different places along the way. And went to somebody's 105th birthday a couple months ago because they asked us to go. And hell, why not? I mean, the guy's
Sure.
105 years old. And there's a lot
what
of-
story did you get out of that? What'd you learn from that?
Well, we had his family was there and he was there, and we were in a nursing home. And people never want to get old and lose their mind. This guy was sharp. He was sharp in a different world, but he was really sharp. And he knew who we were, and he knew why we were there. And just a good citizen with a good mind, with a lot of good tales to tell along the way. And it was just interesting. And you get them, and we go to strange places. I mean, we talked to one guy in the park one day that he didn't want to get off camera. I mean, he kept pushing and pushing and pushing,
Yeah.
and oh my God! But he was interesting. So there's a lot of interesting people out there.
That's the show you need to do, you see, is just talk to different people from different parts of the town and take it from there. And you could be, there's some Johnny Carson, there's some Jay Leno, there's some, maybe not Jimmy Kimmel, but there's some of all that in you. And we hope we have not certainly seen anywhere near the last of you on the airwaves around Hilton Head Island and Beaufort County, trying to make things better for all of us. We appreciate that.
Thank you, thank you.
And we appreciate you, again, watching us here on the County Channel. Thanks so much. I'm Bob Stevens of WHHI with the Mayor of Hilton Head Island, John McCann.